as someone that I like the whole league. Yes, I am an Atlanta fan, but I like the league as a whole. I really, because I just wanted to see it grow here in the U.S. Where I'm from, soccer was not really a thing, and even now, like it has gotten popular here in the state of West Virginia, but it's nothing like other places. And so like that was one of the main reasons why I made my channel was because I wanted to build a community that enjoyed American soccer, not just the Premier League. I mean, I have a handful of friends that they just watch the Premier League, want nothing
Yep.
to do with MLS. So the Apple deal, being able as someone that wants to watch all the games, like that's awesome. It's all in one place. I don't think it's a bad price. Some people say it's too much. I don't think it's a bad price because if you look at other American sports like NFL Sunday Ticket or NBA League Pass, like the NFL Sunday Ticket is expensive for the season. So I don't think that's bad. I like Apple in that sense. But like you said, you have to have quality. So you have to raise the salary cap, maybe get another DP. You have to make these roster changes for us to be able to go out and get these guys that can make the league more quality. But also, your average casual fan is not going to buy Apple TV just to watch casually. Like that price tag for Apple TV for the MLS season pass, like your average person's not going to just your casual fan is not going to do that. And like they don't really advertise like, hey, this is the free game. I don't feel like they did do that a little bit whenever they the first season of Apple TV, but they got to promote that so the casual fan will get hooked to it. And I don't feel like they did a good job promoting that. And then I do. I think that they need to have these local TV stations. You got to put it on TV where people are going to watch it. Yes, I guess cable TV is dying out, as you would say, cable TV, because like I haven't had it since 2010. I've not had cable TV. It's all been on the internet. So like I understand, but we still need to make deals with we got to get it out there for people to see and for the casual, person to be able to see. I also think they need to get away from Fox, but I know some people that's a whole nother story. I do not like Fox's broadcast of soccer. It's awful, but that can be a whole nother conversation. But yeah, I agree with them. Like we just need you got to have it in other people's faces, and you have to have that casual fan to turn that casual fan into a fan to a diehard fan. And I don't think that Apple has done a good job, and MLS hasn't done a good job like marketing that. Like, hey, here's the free games, watch them, or even like give instruction. Like, I couldn't tell you how many people, because I do watch alongs for games. I couldn't
Oh
tell you
yeah.
how many people I have walked through how to even see the free game. So like they don't even show that like how to go and see it for free on Apple TV. Like people think that even if you have like people think you have to have Apple TV for that free game. It's like no, you can still go in as long as you have like your Apple ID. So I think they have failed on that part for the marketing.
Yeah. So like I said, we did this last week, and you hit one of my biggest gripes. So if you want to see like a full breakdown, Eli Lesser and I dove into this whole thing. We did like an hour on it, and it's posted already, so go check it out. But my biggest gripe was this idea of the free game not being marketed properly,
Mm-hmm.
right? How many people, and this goes all the way out to like when we had the U.S. Open Cup too. Like the U.S. Open Cup was free to watch, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, they put it behind a paywall and they tried to kill it and blah 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 blah." And like our friends over at the Cup.us were literally like their whole Twitter feed for like 3 days was like, it's a free game. It's a free game. Just log on to Apple TV. It's a free game. You
Mm-hmm.
don't need it. You don't need a subscription. It's a free game to hundreds of people. It's like, how have we not figured out in year three now that you need to market this properly? Like the marketing
Yeah.
sucks. So
Mm-hmm.
I've always said that I think I like the Apple TV deal. I think it brings a lot of positives. I think it sucks in other ways. Like they still haven't gotten graphics right. Like they posted the New York City graphic last week and it had St. Louis's colors and logo on it. I'm like, guys, kill the AI, right? Bring in people to do the job. Stop messing this up. That's too easy, right? But the other thing for me was marketing. So I believe that Apple TV was a gamble, and I don't think anybody who says it wasn't a gamble. I think they're wrong. It's a gamble because it didn't have any sports at the time. right?
Yeah.
If you convinced ESPN to increase their quality and do everything Apple TV did, but on ESPN Plus where it was originally, instant hit, right? Because you've already
Yeah.
got access to other sports. You've got access, like it's in one place.
Yeah.
Apple TV is a place. Not only do you need to buy a subscription to buy the actual Apple TV, which has Ted Lasso, Severance, Shrinking, and that's about it. There's not much else to
Yeah.
watch there, so it's not really worth it to get the double package. But you have to buy Apple TV and MLS Season Pass, right? That's short-sighted to me. I think you could have cut a deal that would have been better, where it was, hey, everybody who signs up for Apple TV, give us a cut of 4%, whatever the number is, right? Pick a
Yeah.
percent. It maybe it nets you less than what they're going to do with this, $2.5 billion deal or whatever over 10 years. But at least you know that you're getting a stable income instead of, losing out on millions potentially
Yeah.
because they don't want to go buy another streaming service, right? That being said, I don't believe that putting it on linear cable brings in those millions of people, right? And this is what I got stuck on last week was if you're telling me that in the years 2010 to 2022 or whenever we went to this deal that we brought on millions and millions of diehard fans who were randomly scrolling on a Saturday and were like, "Oh, Chicago versus San Jose. I'll watch that game," and then instantly fell in love with Chicago like I believe that you can count that on one hand.
Yeah.
I don't believe there are like millions of people that do that, right? Now, if you told me that we lost millions of fans, or not millions, but we lost a ton of fans who were supporters and were like, "Oh, I'm not buying another streaming service," I believe that. But I
Yeah.
don't believe we're missing out on the casual. So to wrap this all up, how do we get more people to watch who are the casuals? First off, I don't know if you try and target the European base because I think that there is a significant amount of them who will watch a game and be like, this just isn't good enough for me, right? Can
Yeah.
we talk about quality, right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
even if we went and signed Holland, Mbappe, and Ronaldo in his prime, Messi in his prime, we signed everybody all at once. We're just going to be labeled the American Saudi Arabia, and we're money washing the league and whatever, right? There's no winning on that.
Yeah.
However, there are millions and millions of football, basketball, baseball parents whose kids are playing soccer now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you get them involved? Outreach, right? You go over to the leagues these kids are playing in, and you do outreach there, right? I mean, some clubs are putting in these five-a-side pitches, which are great, but you go out and you for a year just are you're sponsoring pitches and you are putting up signs and you're giving away raffles to season pass. You're doing all this sort of stuff to engage the community of people who are not that bought into Americans, right? So I had a group of, I'm a coach here in Carolina, and I had a group of 17s, and every single one of them were fans of Man City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, whatever, right? And when I asked them, like, oh, do you go to the Atlanta games or the Charlotte games? And they're like, no. I came back from the Atlanta game last week out of my first session, and we were talking about it, and they were all like, "Oh, I like Man City, Real Madrid, whatever, and Messi's my favorite, and whatever." And somebody goes, "Oh yeah, I loved it when he played against Atlanta because there was that whole big fight and everything. Didn't understand any of it, but he loved Atlanta." And I was like, "Oh, are you an Atlanta fan?" I was just at the game. We talked for like 3 4 minutes. There is a group of kids who are buying into this,
Yeah.
but they don't have money to buy Apple TV, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do you get the parents to convince that, or how do you get the kids to ask their parents for that for their birthday or for whatever, right?
Hmm.
Like, that's the demographic I think we target.
Yeah.
And that's how you grow that better because at the end of the day, I genuinely believe that there is a large number of people you're never going to convince. They are always going to see it as a second rate league, and that's fine. I don't care, right?
Yeah.
But there is a huge untapped market in the parents who never played soccer, but kids are starting to love soccer.
Yeah.
And we're in enough markets where it's like NFL now, where it's like, oh, we're 3 hours from Atlanta, but he's an Atlanta fan, right? We're 2 hours from Charlotte, but I got some kids who love Charlotte, right?
Mhm.
We are close enough where it's like, okay, this is like the NFL where we'll make a trip and watch these games every week if we can get them to watch it, right? So that's where I think we go.
I absolutely love that take. I didn't even think about like, this outreach and you're right. I mean, there's a lot of like because a lot of my friends and stuff that they are now having kids and stuff and like they don't want their kids to play American football
Yeah.
because of how aggressive, the head injuries and stuff. So a lot of them are going like soccer is like the way to go now. And that is great, offer deals to, reach out to these different leagues for kids and, yeah, do the outreach and offer, even offer them like, oh, 50% off,
Yeah.
here's MLS season pass, especially for the youth and stuff that are close enough to go to, like you said, 2-3 hours away to go to a game. Yeah, like, and even, on an outreach, like they probably do this, especially for local kids, but like somehow like give them tickets, if you know that you're having a game that's not going to have a huge turnout, you
Yeah.
know, give some of those tickets away because you're going, if you give those tickets away to a family of four, that at some point in time they're going to buy something there at the stadium. You know what I mean? Like a
Oh,
drink,
yeah.
concession, something. So, yeah, like if you know that you're not going to get that many fans to like because they're playing the worst team in the league, give those tickets away or like you said, raffle. Like I really like that idea. I didn't even think about that aspect of it. So I really like that take.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, and you, I think you just took it a step up, right? You go out and if you're in Atlanta, right, you go to every soccer league that's within a 100-mile radius of you, and you say,
Mhm.
hey, we're going to give you a discount code that's going to apply for 25% off season pass, and have your kids sign up for it, right? All these kids, and especially the closer you get, all these kids know what your club is. You're massive,
Yeah.
right? And it only gets bigger, right? People know who Red Bull are, people know who Chicago is, but they've got the old school fan base that they haven't really done a good job. But you got the St. Louis, the San Diego's, the Atlantas, the Charlottes. I mean, they're huge.
Yeah.
Seattle is still big, right? You can go and drive that forward
Mhm.
by just offering a little bit of money. And I promise you, these billionaires, they have enough to spare. So
Yeah,
you can do it.
exactly.
I believe in you.
Yeah.
Come on.